none of this I knew before I started doing this, right? Seeing all these assholes, that tell me that, they're going to help, like, and I'm naive and I'm thinking like, sure, okay, like I'm going to do it. But, like at the end of the day, it didn't really help, so that's why I ended up here.
What's going on, guys? Inside this video, I'll share the conversation that me and my client had during our call together. Now, we talk about his experience, why he chose the program, how he felt inside the program, and even some of his concern before joining the program as well. Because, we all been burned out before, right? And he specifically talked about how this program is different from anything else he tried before. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Alvin. I help desk workers to fix their chronic low back problem and help them to get back to activity they used a lot. Now, for this client specifically, is helping get back to playing basketball. Now, if you're ready to change right now, check the link below, book call, the price is right there. All right, be ready to take your action, bring credit card, and we can get you started today. If you're not sold yet, that's absolutely cool. Check this video out and my YouTube mini course as well. All right, I hope you enjoy. How is your body feeling just in general?
Completely different, man. Completely different. It's I am having to rediscover how my body functions, basically, because what is it that you call the way that my pelvis was rotated? Was that posterior or anterior? How was my hip rotated? It was rotated back, and we're fixing it to rotate it straight.
Yeah, so you're anteriorly tilted right now.
Yeah. So for the longest period of time, I didn't realize that. So if I would like lift heavy weights on top of me, I have that tilt, and now I'm putting more pressure on it. So every time I would do, like with squats, I've injured my back many, many times. And then I go back and do it lighter and then think I need to open up and do flexion, blah, blah, blah. I'm working on my ankles, I'm working on my hips, but I'm not getting a result, right? So now I'm noticing the shift that is taking place, but it's almost like my muscles around it, they have to figure out what this new position is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely, man.
also with the exercises that I'm doing, that's fixing things, that allows me to stand for longer periods of time without, feeling discomfort or whatever. Um, but yes, and then what I noticed a lot when I was doing the hooks and then breathing into it is I started to get sore from it. I was like thinking to myself, like, man, I've never gotten sore from stretching and breathing into it. Like I think soreness, it comes from lifting a weight or something like that, right? So, even that was like one day I was like, I can't believe that like all through here is just sore, and like if I touch it, it feels sore, like I worked it out. So I probably did with the breath work, but not in a sense that I thought was what working out meant. Um, so yeah, man, I think I'm very very happy with the way that this is progressing, and also because I haven't seen the images of my X-rays, but I'm assuming that it's going to show the posterior, the problem with my vertebrae there, and I'm also confident that if they would do it now, it would show less because my hips are more straight, more forward, alleviating a lot of the pressure that I have on there. But also that is for me, it's like I have to rediscover how my spine works because like it was for such a long time in this shitty position that now it's turning into a right position that I have to like, I have to play with it. I was like, how does this feel? How does that feel? If I do this, if I do that, it's, like it's been, yeah, I mean, I'm just very excited. I was talking to my wife about this today. I told her, I said, like we're talking about exercising, and I told her, I said, like, well, the coach has me not do any exercises right now because, like I'm probably if I start lifting weights or whatever, I said, like then I'm going to create an imbalance in these muscles. I said, like, so I'm just gonna like not do those things and just like let him figure it out, like with the stuff that we're doing, and I'm just gonna follow that and trust that. Like if that means like right now I don't go and lift weights or something, it's like, like do I know why I lift weights? I don't really know. I just go to the gym, I just want to lift weights. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. So with this, like learning, I was like, oh my God, like I'm learning my body again. Like everything I thought that I knew is probably wrong, because before this I've stretched for 2 years, man. Like and none of it helped, like like it's kept doing the same thing, and yeah, it was just hurting and hurting and hurting and hurting. But like now I'm noticing absolutely less pain, but also this relearning phase of my body. It has to go through like, hey, what's going on?
Absolutely, man. This is all about building a foundations. So later on, once you know how to do it, now you can start discovering all those new range of motion or start doing all those exercises again, right?
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
have to have the ability to do those in the first place instead of just jamming it through, right?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Now, at this point, I think we've been working together for about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, instead of going directly to his lower back, we get rid of his anterior orientation first and get rid of his upper body restrictions as well. And now we can play around with some other exercise that target his lower back and the right hip internal rotation and the right hip abduction as well. And this is his feedback.
So like those things are starting to click for me, doing these exercises, pushing my pelvis further forward, like that, even sitting and even walking and all these things, just feel different, right? And like I had messaged you when playing basketball, like it was just a world of difference. Like there's just like I have to, like I said, I have to relearn certain things. For example, if I did, you're familiar with mountain climbers when doing your core exercises. So in the past, when I would do those, or even bicycle, what do they call them? The bicycle ones. It would always like it would pop my hips every single time. Every time I would twist and turn, pop, pop, pop. I was like, man, I don't want to do this stuff, man. It just doesn't feel like my body should be popping. Now, what was it? 2 days ago, I was like, let me try to do those bicycle ones. And I was like, man, it's not popping. And I was like, yeah, because my back is actually straight on the floor. My pelvis is lifted. My legs are in a better shape. So if I move them, there's no restriction there. None of this I knew before I started doing this, right? And like you said, seeing all these assholes, that tell me that, they're going to help, like, and I'm naive and I'm thinking like, sure, okay, like I'm going to do it. But, like at the end of the day, it didn't really help, so that's why I ended up here.
Just for the record, man, I don't want to call those people asshole because just I've learned a lot of stuff from doctors, physiotherapists, and chiropractors myself. So that just a lot of people they just don't want to solve the root cause problem, which is super crazy, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no, that's the biggest thing, because I've always been like, okay, if I knew what the problem was, I would want to work on it, but I don't know exactly what my problem is. Plus, everything else that I see, or wherever I go is like, oh, like, oh, we can fix it. Oh, you just need some adjustments. Oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. And what it reminded me of? There's this one guy that I follow online. It's called Squat University. Have you heard of him?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he does a lot of stuff with people who are working out and then they have some restriction. He does a lot of testing, and I was like, oh wow, wait a minute, like this is also what we are doing right now, with retesting and figuring out where the problems lay. And I can tell, like all the imbalances that I had, like with the exercise, I can tell like all of it is improving. I could just see, feel, like when I do the recording, I was like, oh my God, like, my arm is going further back, like my hip or my shoulder isn't coming off like right away, so, it's a twofold thing, right? Like one, you feel it, two, you see it, like, and yeah, it just makes me feel better. But and sometimes you post things on your Instagram which says like, oh man, I feel so much better, so much calmer. It's exactly the feeling that I have, like I'm less frustrated with my kid, like because why? Because oftentimes, like the world plays around underneath my head, like probably a lot around my hips and my knees. So the world is like down for me. I hate to go down because I'm in pain. You know what I mean? But now I'm in less and less and less pain. So now the world underneath me doesn't bother me as much, like, because, oh, if something happens down there, I can actually go down and grab it or do whatever instead of like, oh my God, like my whole body's aching and hurting. I got to go pick it up. Stop playing with that shit, like get away from here. Leave me alone, you know? So yeah, it's been great.
I'm glad to hear, man. Really, really glad to hear. I think you make a lot of progress because I think maybe because you have some sort of a athletic background, because you used to play a lot of basketball. So your body tends to adapt pretty quickly to different things.
Yeah.
And I think you've been working really, really hard, especially on a daily basis, even though it doesn't take a really, really long time, but you still keep doing it every single day, which is another important part is to stay consistent. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're making progress, man. I'm really, really happy for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, like, and that's the thing, right? Like, once you start feeling the progress, you just want to keep doing it more because, like, okay, wait a minute, you know, like I found something that's working for me, you know, so I want to keep on doing this, you know, and quite honestly, you know, like initially when I was doing the exercise, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing, you know, like I'm just like in a position, I'm breathing, this is gonna help me, really. I was like, okay, yeah, you know, like it did. I got to change my shirt. I'm way too warm. You know, like, hey, you know, about the gym, if I lift weights, if I do this, if I do that, you know, I felt a little uh, impatient. You know, I was like, I just wanted to get back. But, you know, like now with all the changes that are taking place in my body, I was like, oh, I totally understand why he told me like to hold off, you know, because we're first going to get my body in alignment before I start, you know, putting any weight anywhere, you know, like, and it all makes sense right now. So,
all right, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Now, if you're ready to take your actions right now, click the link below, book a call. The price is right there. Ready to take your action, bring a credit card, and we can get you started today. And who knows, right? Maybe you're in my next client testimonial video just like this, right? Now, if you're not so yet, absolutely cool. We helped in there before, right? Now, if you want to get more info, check my mini course right underneath my YouTube playlist. All the info is there, all right? Bye for now.